You are going through a stage of life that many never had the fortune to reach. Old age is not a sign that everything is over, but a living testament that you have survived storms that others could never face. You look at your reflection in the mirror, and from the depths of your eyes, a silent question arises. Is this all that's left? But the truth is, you have lived more than many dare to dream. You have carried on your back not just responsibilities, but also pains, people, and burdens that no longer serve a purpose. You have reached a point where continuing to carry what drags you down is a silent betrayal of your essence. You have experienced losses, revolutions, changes of eras, and have witnessed the world transform before your eyes. You survived friends who left too soon, systems that collapsed, and generations that barely understand what you have endured. That is the deep root of true wisdom. It does not come from books, but from the scars of the soul. There is no longer space to drag along habits that have expired, relationships that dim your light, or thoughts that sabotage your peace. All of that is dead weight that steals the most valuable thing you still have: your energy, your well-being, your joy of being alive. The third age is not the closing of a cycle. It is the most liberating chapter, the moment when you can finally choose how you want to live without masks or concessions. But to begin anew, it is necessary to clear out, to shed what no longer fits with you, without guilt, without justifications. Today we are going to do just that. I will guide you through a process in which we will reveal 8 elements that you need to let go of once and for all if you wish to reconnect with that freedom you never lost. It was just a sleep. It won't be easy. It won't be comfortable either. This goes deep. But if you have the courage to look inside and detach from what no longer serves you, then stay with me. I didn't come to tell you what you want to hear. I came to shake your soul. So if you're listening, wake up, because what's coming might change the way you see this wonderful stage of life. And without further ado, let's begin with the first step. Stop living as if you need permission to be happy. After everything you've been through, are you still waiting for someone to tell you that you deserve to smile? Do you still need external permission to enjoy your own life? That needs to change, right here and right now. It doesn't matter if you're 60, 70, or 80 years old. What matters is that you are here, breathing, living, with a heart that still has stories to tell. You've survived moments that left deep scars, conflicts, losses, silences that screamed inside days when it felt like everything was falling apart. And yet, you simply carried on. You did it without a word, without asking for help, because that's what was expected of you. And still, there are days when you hold back from doing what you truly want because you're afraid of bothering others, disappointing them, or breaking the invisible rules imposed on you. You know what? All of that is a big lie you were sold. They made you believe that happiness was only valid if you met certain conditions, if you were always the good, helpful, quiet person. That growing up meant becoming invisible, behaving, fitting in. But that lie has been dimming the spark inside you. It's wasting your time, and that time is precious. Because every day you live to please others is a day stolen from yourself. One less day of peace, one less day of authenticity, one less day of real life. Think about everything you've achieved, what you've built, what you've sown, and tell me, do you really not believe that now, at this stage, you deserve to live fully? You were there steadfast when your partner needed you in the good times, and most importantly, the bad. You worked even with a fever. You cooked even when your body begged for rest. You cleaned, cared for, and looked after everyone without pause. You gave love and dedication, even when what you truly wanted was to say no. You stayed quiet to avoid arguments. You swallowed your pain. You ignored your feelings to keep peace, a peace that many times only you maintained. You accepted scraps to avoid being alone. You tolerated harsh words and entire days of silence. And still, you stayed there steadfast without complaint. So today, I'm telling you clearly, you've paid your dues. You've paid with years, with hidden tears, with silences that felt like mountains. You've paid with your soul. And if anyone at this point in your life still tries to make you feel guilty for putting yourself first, that person doesn't understand a thing about what it means to be alive. If you want to fall in love again, go for it. If you want to live alone, or with your friends or your dogs, do it too. If you feel the urge to travel, even if it's just a few kilometers from home, pack your bags. If one day you feel like dancing in the living room with a drink in your hand, dance. If you want to wear a red dress, a floral blouse, or an expensive perfume, do it without hesitation. If one day you feel the need to say no, or simply stop seeing someone, say it. If you need to turn off your phone and not respond to anyone for a while, do it. That's not selfishness, it's self-respect. It's self-love. Think of it like this. Your life has been a garden you've tended for decades. You planted flowers for others. You pulled out the weeds they pointed out to you. You did everything that was expected of you, but you rarely planted something just for yourself. And now in this final season, you have a unique chance to do so, because if you don't plant now, that garden will wither, and you will leave without tasting your own fruit. It's not about forgetting others, but remembering that you deserve it too. That's the true secret of those who truly enjoy this stage of life. It's not money, nor perfect health. It's the courage to stop asking for permission to be happy. They stopped justifying every step they took. They stopped looking around for approval. They began to live for what brings them peace, for what makes them happy, even if no one else understands it. Do you think it's too late for you? The real too late only happens when there's no life left. As long as you're still breathing, time is still yours. But every day you let pass waiting for someone to approve you is a lost day. And how many more are you willing to keep losing? Open the door, step outside, feel the wind, laugh for no reason, dance without shame, hug without warning. Live as if you don't owe anyone an apology for being happy. Because if you don't do it for yourself, no one else will. Now we come to point number 2. Distance yourself fearlessly from those who drain you. Yes, you read that right. Distance yourself. Cut that tie. Don't try to understand anymore. Don't wait for a miraculous change. At this point in life, you're not here to beg for affection or justify the presence of anyone who steals your peace. Do you have any idea how emotionally exhausting dealing with a toxic person can be? How many times have you disturbed your own peace just to keep a relationship that only drains you? Someone who constantly complains, manipulates, blames you, makes you feel inadequate, or simply creates tension just by being there. That energy, though invisible, ages the soul. It's more draining than any physical labor. And here comes the hard part, but it's absolutely necessary. Sometimes the person who saps your energy isn't a stranger. Sometimes they're family. It could be a son, a daughter, a sibling, or even the person you share your bed with. And then you think, they're family. I'm older now. Why fight? It's always been this way. What's the point of changing? I understand that, but while you search for reasons to justify the unjustifiable, you're slowly fading away. Every time you put them first and yourself last, you're telling yourself that you're not worth much, that your peace can wait. But for how long? Your peace isn't a luxury. It's a necessity. It's worth more than any last name, more than tradition, more than the "it's always been this way" excuse. Because without peace, there's no real rest, no health, no true happiness. And at this point in your life, you're not here to carry other people's pain or settle for less than you deserve. You're here to live peacefully, to choose consciously, to enjoy life without guilt. Let me put it this way. Imagine your energy is like a thermos full of hot water. You filled it with effort, precious memories, deep experiences, genuine love. And every time that person shows up, they unscrew the thermos and spill the water. What do? Do you keep refilling it again and again, even when it burns your hands? Do you let them empty it without thinking of yourself? Until one day, there's nothing left. They've left you empty, drained you without realizing it, or worse, without caring. Does that sound familiar? The saddest part is that it doesn't just happen once. It's a cycle. They call you, reach out to you, demand from you, pressure. You ask for your time, money, attention. But when you need a hug, a sincere word, a real gesture of affection, they disappear or make you feel guilty for wanting something. That constant draining piles up. It wears down your soul. Cutting ties doesn't always mean ending communication forever. Cutting ties also means setting a clear and firm boundary. That is to say, this is as far as you can go, but from here on, I take control. It means not answering the phone when you know that every conversation leaves you feeling heavy-hearted. It's not opening your door if you know that visit will upset you. It's not giving up your time, your silence, or your emotional stability just because you're afraid of being seen as the bad person. Yes, it might hurt, and yes, being alone can be scary. But let me tell you something with all the love in the world. Being alone and at peace is worth infinitely more than being surrounded by others and broken inside. If they get offended, let them be offended. If they criticize you, let them criticize. If they drift away, let them go, because those who disappear on their own, who can no longer draw from your energy, were never there out of love. They were there out of need, interest, or convenience. They never wanted to see you free. They just wanted you useful, and you were not born to be useful at the cost of your happiness. You are not obligated to maintain relationships that make you sick. You don't have to tolerate anyone's chronic bad mood, endure contempt, or pretend everything is fine just because it always has been. That no longer suits you, especially not now, not at your age. Now you are here to enjoy conversations that make you laugh, connections that truly embrace you, words that soothe your soul, not manipulate you disguised as affection. You are here to feel free in your home, in your body, and in your world. And for that, you need to do some clearing out. You have to open the windows of your heart and let out the stale air. Because yes, it's hard. Of course it hurts. But you know what hurts even more? Carrying people who stopped walking beside you long ago, yet still weigh down your shoulders. Stop overthinking it. Don't wait for the next argument or the next disappointment. Don't wait for that last drop that overflows the glass. Make the decision now. For yourself, for your peace, for all that you can still experience with freedom. That glass we've talked about has already overflowed, not once, but 1,000 times. For a while now, what's overflowing isn't love, it's exhaustion. You've stayed silent for far too long. Today, only you can change the course, and if that means closing certain doors, do it without guilt. Because every door you close on toxicity is a new window opening for peace to come in. Every boundary you set is not rejection. It's self-care. It's pure self-love. Every time you say no to someone who hurts you, you are saying a big yes to your emotional health, your well-being, and your right to live free. Cut off what drains you. You don't owe anyone an explanation or need to justify your exhaustion, nor argue with those who don't understand your pain. Do it for yourself, for your peace of mind, for all the beautiful experiences still waiting for you once you free yourself from that invisible weight that drags you down. This isn't about being selfish. It's about no longer letting others drain you. And if someone gets upset because you stopped allowing it, then they weren't part of your solution. They were part of the problem. Cut it out. Cut it at the root and rest, because you've already given too much. Now, it's time to live. Listen closely. If any of this has resonated with you so far, or if you think someone you care about needs to hear this, what comes next will be even more revealing. But first, since you're watching this video, I invite you to leave a comment with your country or city. I love seeing how far these words reach. If you're not yet part of this community, I encourage you to subscribe now and hit the like button. It means the world to me. Take a moment, comment on where you're joining me from. And now, let's continue. Let's go straight to point number 3. Clean up your emotional mess. One of the greatest silent poisons in old age isn't loneliness or illness. It's all the emotional weight you've carried over the years, even decades. Guilt, resentment, shame, anger, the words you never said, the wounds you held back to avoid rocking the boat, the betrayals you swallowed, the frustrations you hid so as not to burden anyone, the decisions you didn't make, loves left open like a wound that won't heal, fears you never admitted, mistakes you never forgave yourself for. All of that is there, invisible, but real. It's a weight on your chest, on your shoulders, in your mind. It's what steals your sleep, sours your days, weakens your body. And the hardest part is that there's no reason to keep dragging it around. Why remain a hostage to a pain rooted in a moment that no longer exists? Why carry the guilt of a mistake you made when you were a different person, with different tools, different awareness, different wounds? You are no longer the version of yourself you were 30 or 40 years ago. You didn't have the wisdom you have now. So why do you keep punishing yourself for decisions made out of ignorance, fear, or misunderstood love? You made mistakes as a mother, as a father, as a child. And that's okay. We all have. People who hurt you are no longer in your life. You're still holding on to anger about things that were never resolved. And while you keep feeding that anger, how many days slip away, lost in thoughts about what could have been but never was? It's like living in a house cluttered with emotional garbage everywhere. You walk through the mess, breathing in contaminated air without even realizing it. But there's something you can do today that will change your life. Open the door and throw all that away. Yes, say it out loud. Emotional garbage. Throw away the guilt for what you didn't accomplish. Throw away the shame for what you did when you didn't know what you know now. Throw away the need for someone to apologize. Throw away the resentment that quietly eats away at you. While you lie awake at night, trapped by repetitive thoughts, others rest in peace, completely unaware of the weight you carry inside. It's time to empty yourself. Free yourself from broken expectations, from dreams that weren't yours, from the pointless comparisons that make you feel less. None of that builds you up. None of it lifts you higher. They are invisible burdens anchoring you to the ground. They are not part of your present. They are remnants of a past that holds no power over you unless you give it that power. Carrying those burdens around is like dragging a backpack full of old, dirty stones that mean nothing. The further you go in life, the more urgent it becomes to let them go, because time can't be wasted anymore. Time is now worth its weight in gold, and there's no amount of gold that can buy it back if you trade it for old pain that serves no purpose. Have you ever felt apathetic, unmotivated, or just didn't want to do anything and assumed it was because of your age? But no, often it's not age, it's the buildup of emotional garbage you're carrying. It's that invisible weight crushing you. And here's the hardest truth. No one is going to come and clean it up for you. Not your children, not your friends, not a doctor, nor a therapist. They can support you, guide you, but if you don't decide to lift that burden yourself, no one can do it for you. You don't need a ceremony, letters, or to relive those wounds. Sometimes it's enough to simply say out loud, "This no longer has a place in my life. I deserve more. I deserve peace." And that's where liberation begins, not with drama, but with dignity. It's looking in the mirror and firmly declaring, "After everything I've been through, I'm not going to carry this emotional baggage any longer." Because yes, it's emotional trash. It's not something to hold on to. It's something to throw away. Don't keep it, just in case. Don't hide it in a corner. Throw it away without looking back. Do you want to live lightly? Then let it all go. If someone brings up a failure from 20 years ago, don't respond. Don't strike back. Grant yourself the peace of no longer harboring hatred. If someone judged you, don't seek revenge. Let it go, because the more you hold on to, the less you can embrace life. And if you don't let it go, no one else will do it for you. Don't be the person who reaches the end with a poisoned heart, a soul full of resentments, eyes heavy with old tears, and words left unspoken. Be someone who arrives light clear at peace, with room for love, for silence, for genuine laughter, with air in your lungs and light in your eyes. Throw away all that emotional garbage, everything unnecessary, everything that hurts and serves no purpose. You'll soon notice how, almost without realizing it, you start to breathe differently. You'll feel lighter, more present, and then you'll understand something deeply true. The problem was never your age. It was all the things you refused to let go of. That's why today is the day, not tomorrow. Not when you feel better, not when everything falls into place. Today, right now, take all that emotional trash and get it out of your life. Close that door, because on the other side is your true self, the one who's been waiting for years for you to dare to set yourself free. And now we come to point number 4. Free yourself from everything that weighs you down, even if it seemed good for a long time. How many things do you carry that no longer make sense? I'm not just talking about old objects. I mean people, promises, guilt, responsibilities that aren't yours, distorted memories, obligations you never asked for, and pains that never fully heal. At this stage in your life, every burden you carry is a stone in your soul. And if you want to walk more lightly, you have to learn to let go, without guilt, without explanations, without fear. It's not about giving up. It's not about forgetting. It's about choosing, about clearly deciding what deserves to stay in your backpack and what no longer has a place. Your life is that backpack. As the years went by, you started to take on the expectations of others, disappointments, commitments that don't bring you joy, pains that aren't yours, and promises you never needed to keep. You tried to fill silences that weren't yours. You carried burdens imposed by others without ever asking if you wanted to bear them. You took on the responsibility for pains that didn't originate with you, family members who never gave you the same love you offered them, and yet you convinced yourself it was your duty. You had to keep going, even when the journey hurt, and you did. But over time, that backpack became so heavy that you didn't even realize your exhaustion wasn't from the years. It was from the load. Maybe today you're caring for someone who could manage on their own, but they've gotten used to you being their crutch, their support, and you keep being there, holding on, even though you feel broken inside. You keep playing the role of the strong one, the one who endures, the one who can do it all. But at what cost? When will you let go of that mask? Stop committing to things that no longer make you happy, just to avoid disappointing others. Live for yourself. You live in a big house filled with things you don't use, yet you cling to them out of attachment. Make space, clear it out, breathe. Are you still waiting for others to understand you, to love you the way you love, to recognize everything you've done? Let go of that need, because there's a truth you can't keep ignoring. Everything that weighs you down holds you back. Everything that holds you back ages you. It's not time wearing you out. It's what you choose to keep dragging along. And here's another harsh but necessary truth. No one is going to applaud you for continuing to sacrifice yourself. No one will give you a medal for being the one who postpones herself the most, who sacrifices the most, who forgets herself for others. And do you know why? Because while you're drowning under the weight, others carry on with their lives. You remain there, bent inward, waiting for gratitude that never comes, recognition that will never arrive. It's time to ask yourself an honest question. What I'm carrying, is it my choice? Do I need it? Or am I just dragging it out of habit? If it doesn't make you happy, if it doesn't bring you closer to the life you want, if it doesn't give you peace, then let it go. Release those who no longer love you. Choose to let go of those who only come to you when they need something. Let go of the dramas of others that drain you. Release the weight of always having to be okay for everyone. Stop being afraid to say no. Free yourself from guilt. Live your life. Let go of worrying about what others will say. All those burdens together are what make it so hard to wake up each morning with enthusiasm. Let me give you a clear picture. You have a balloon in your hand. You've been holding on to it for years. At first it lifted you, kept you company, made you smile. But now, that balloon does nothing for you. It doesn't float, it doesn't lift you up, it doesn't serve you. It just takes up space in your hand, yet you keep holding on. Why? Letting go isn't losing. Letting go is making room. It's opening yourself to the new, to the healthy, to what truly adds value to your life, to what brings you joy. It's creating space for what effortlessly makes you smile, for what makes you feel alive. Because yes, at this stage, everything that doesn't light you up weighs you down, and what weighs you down no longer belongs. You don't want to keep living this way. You know it. You want to feel freer, lighter, more alive, to reclaim the enthusiasm you thought was gone, so don't put it off any longer. Don't wait for the new year or Monday or the perfect moment. Don't wait for someone to give you permission. Take charge yourself. Let go now. And if you feel fear, let that go too, because fear, like everything else, can also be released. It weighs you down as well. You're not here to keep carrying what drags you down. You're here to lift your head, straighten your shoulders, and walk tall, because now more than ever, you are the one who decides. But to truly decide, there's one thing you must let go of once and for all. Number 5, stop living to please others. How many more years do you think you'll keep doing what others expect of you? How many more? Yes, will you say when inside you're shouting, no. How many more awkward lunches will you silently endure? How many more times will you tolerate mistreatment disguised as family? How long will you keep postponing yourself just to avoid making others uncomfortable? Listen carefully. You've already given everything. You've already given more than anyone ever needed from you. You've spent a lifetime taking care of your parents' needs, your children's, your partners, your friends, your bosses, societies. You were that good person who was always there, the one who never complained, the one who swallowed her own tears to keep the peace. And what happened in the middle of all that? You forgot yourself. You made yourself smaller. You started silencing the things that hurt you. You swallowed injustices, disappointments, and emotional abuse just so no one would be upset, to avoid conflict, to maintain a peace that wasn't real. It was an inner war disguised by a smile. What kind of harmony is that if you tense your shoulders every single day? What's the point of living to please others when you're breaking down inside? At this stage in your life, you don't owe anyone explanations. You're here to live on your own terms. You're here to say, I don't feel like it, without guilt. Don't want to go to that family event? Don't go. Don't want to talk to that person who always makes you feel small? Don't talk. Want a weekend alone, away from everyone? Pack your bags and go. Don't feel like it? Say it clearly, simply, and directly. You don't owe anyone anything, because when you do things at your own expense, that's not kindness, that's self-neglect. And there's no betrayal more painful than the one you commit against yourself. Listen carefully. The people who truly love you don't want you to sacrifice yourself to be part of their lives. Those who stick around only because you serve them don't love you. They use you, get comfortable with you, need you to function, not to be happy. They want you to serve, not to be free. So repeat after me. I will no longer live to please anyone, because every time I do, I betray myself a little more. Every time I stay silent for fear of upsetting someone, I dim my light a bit more. Every time I put everyone else's needs before my own, I start to disappear. Picture this. You are like a tree. You've spent years giving shade, bearing fruit, protecting others. Yes, you're older now, but your roots remain strong. The problem is some people cling to your branches, tear your leaves, trample your roots, and you allow it because you think, what will they do without me? But you forgot to ask yourself, what am I doing without me? Didn't you realize that while you were trying to please everyone, no one was trying to please you? You didn't realize that you became a secondary character in your own story. Enough is enough. It's time to take the script of your life and start writing it yourself. Stop performing for an audience and start living for yourself. Speak firmly about what you want, what you don't want, and what you're no longer willing to tolerate. Enough pretending everything's okay. Enough accepting emotional crumbs to avoid stirring up trouble. And if that, does it bother others? Let them be bothered. This stage isn't about pleasing anyone. It's about finding peace. And if achieving peace means disappointing someone, then let them be disappointed. You didn't come this far just to keep breaking inside while everyone applauds on the outside. Don't let yourself down anymore. Don't deny yourself anymore. Don't betray yourself ever again. Not now. Because when you realize that pleasing others hasn't brought you true love, sincere respect, or real well-being, you simply stop doing it. And I say this clearly. If someone is offended because you stopped living to please them, that person never truly valued you. They were just manipulating you. If someone distances themselves because you started choosing yourself, let them go. There's no loss in prioritizing yourself. You came into this life to be yourself, not anyone's emotional servant. You are not less for setting boundaries. You are not a bad person for saying enough is enough. Saying no doesn't make you selfish, it makes you free. And freedom isn't something you beg for. Freedom is defended with claws, with strength, and with courage. So today, decide once and for all. No more yeses that hide a no inside your soul. No more smiles out of obligation. No more swallowing your anger just to keep someone else's false peace. Because this is your life, this is your time, and this stage, the final chapter of your story, belongs to no one but you. And now at last it's your turn. Point number 6, no more excuses. Your good days can still come. But how many times have you convinced yourself it's too late? How many times have you thought, at my age, why start something new? How many times have you been held back by embarrassment, fear, or just habit? Enough. Excuses don't protect you. They imprison you, tying you to a small life, a hollow routine, a chair that won't let you see beyond the window. At this stage in life, the only thing that truly limits you isn't your body, your money, or your environment. It's your mind. A mind overloaded with excuses. It's that inner voice that whispers every day, better not. I'm too old to change. I've lived what I was meant to live. It's not worth starting now. These are all lies. Comfortable lies you use to stay still. Lies you tell yourself to justify the fear of taking control. Lies that mask what's really going on. Life is waiting for you, but you're waiting for something to change without moving from your spot. Do you know what separates someone who enjoys their old age from someone who just suffers through it? It's not luck. It's the decision to stop making excuses. It's the conscious choice to say, yes, I can still do this, because here's the truth. These are your good days. Yes, the ones that haven't arrived yet, but they won't come on their own. You have to go out and find them. You have to build them with your hands, with your soul, with everything you still have. So, how do you start? By stopping the justifications, by breaking down mental barriers, by not hiding behind, I can't. When deep down, what it really means is you no longer want to stay stuck in the same place, even if that place is slowly consuming you. Because yes, there are ways to die while still alive. The slowest and most painful is to stay motionless while your inner light fades. Do you want to go back to studying, even if just for fun? Do it. Do you want to start a gentle exercise routine? Do it. Do you want to move to a new neighborhood, change your surroundings, refresh your space? Do it. Do you want to go out more, meet new people, open yourself to the possibility of falling in love again? Absolutely. It's not too late. Too late is when the heart stops beating, as long as you breathe. Do you want to dance? Then dance. Do you feel like singing? Sing with all your heart, even if no one hears you or you're off key. Do you want to travel alone, even to a place you've never been? Pack your bags and hit the road. Feel curious to try something new, even if just to see how it feels. Try it. Because the worst thing that can happen to you at this stage of life isn't failure, isn't making mistakes. It's never trying at all. As long as you keep finding reasons to justify why you don't do it, life will keep moving forward without you. It will pass you by. You'll watch it from your window with an excuse in hand and desire caught in your throat. Let me put it this way. Excuses are like an old, ugly, uncomfortable, worn-out couch you've grown used to. Your back hurts every time you sit on it. You don't like it anymore. It no longer serves you, but you stay there because you know getting up means moving, changing, stepping out of your routine. And that's exactly what you need. It's time to stand up, because excuses are not a shield. They're a prison. And you weren't born to live trapped by your fears. You were born to learn to laugh, to stumble, to love, to grow, to make mistakes if necessary, but above all, to truly live until your very last day. If you want your good days to come, you first need to stop sabotaging yourself with those sad, resigned words you repeat without even realizing it. Phrases like, "I can't take this anymore, what's the point?" or "What will they think?" All of that is mental clutter. Throw it away without looking back, because it doesn't matter if you're 60, 70, or 85 years old. The soul has no wrinkles, motivation doesn't expire, and happiness never checks your birth date. Every excuse you hold on to shuts the door to something new, to the unexpected, to what could bring joy back into your life. But when you let go of the excuses, the good days arrive. They come when you open the door firmly, with courage, with a hunger for life, because age has never been a barrier to dreaming. The real killers of dreams are called excuses. Since we're talking about space and lightness, there's something else you need to face honestly. Your home is filled with things you no longer use, items that, while they may seem harmless, are a true reflection of what's happening inside you, because your mind and heart are also holding on to more than you need and less of what truly matters. You keep clothes you haven't worn in years, drawers full of useless papers, old dishes for 20 people, even though it's been ages since you've hosted that many, dust-covered decorations, photos that no longer bring joy but sadness, letters that still hurt, objects that offer no peace, only weight. And it's not only objects you're accumulating, but resentments too, words you never said, uncomfortable silences, hidden frustrations. All those invisible burdens take up space, cloud your clarity, drain your energy, and slowly suffocate you. Listen closely. Your home, your surroundings, your drawers are a mirror of your inner world. If your shelves are filled with useless things, it's likely your thoughts are too. If your closet is packed with clothes you don't wear, perhaps your soul is also carrying emotions you no longer need. And that's not living. That's barely surviving amid emotional ruins. Why do you keep that gift from someone who is no longer part of your life and only brings you sadness? Why do you keep that room untouched just in case someone comes? What stops you from getting rid of those dishes you haven't used in years? That piece of furniture that just takes up space, that letter that weighs heavier on your heart than in your hand? Maybe you think that holding on to these things means preserving memories, but often it's just fear. Fear of leaving the past behind and facing the present honestly. Fear of being left without that old backpack of nostalgia. But your soul doesn't need more memories. Your soul needs space. Every object that no longer serves you and every unresolved emotion are like stones in that space. And the more you cling to what you no longer need, the less room you make for what you truly want. Peace, freedom, air, lightness. The more you hold on to what you no longer need, the less space you leave for what really matters. At this stage of life, it's not about accumulating things, but about lightening your path. True happiness doesn't come from adding more, but from letting go of what no longer serves you. Lightness doesn't come from having a lot, but from keeping only what's necessary, what brings you calm, what resonates with you naturally, without noise, without internal demands. And no, you're not throwing away your history by letting go of an old letter, a dress that no longer fits who you are, or an antique piece of furniture. On the contrary, you're honoring your present. You're recognizing that life is not a museum of memories. It's a living space inhabited today, not just by who you were, but by who you choose to be now. Want to feel lighter? Then start with what's visible. Empty a drawer. Donate something you no longer use. Open that closet you've been avoiding for years. Touch that box you keep out of fear and say goodbye to what no longer builds you up. Let fresh air into your home and at the same time, let fresh air into your inner self. As you clean up outside, also clean inside. Let go of old ideas that no longer represent you. Free yourself from resentments, from repetitive thoughts, from memories that only hold you back. Say goodbye to misguided nostalgia that weighs more than it teaches. Because if something doesn't let you breathe, it doesn't let you live either. You didn't come into this world to be trapped by things, nor to lock yourself away in thoughts that dim your light. Don't hold on to more than you need. Seek peace. Because the soul, much like a house, needs clearing out. And the lighter you are, the freer you'll be to move, laugh, breathe, and truly live. And live, don't just exist. Don't let the days slip by as if they were a punishment. Let go, organize, start fresh. It doesn't matter if you're 60, 70, or 90 years old. It's never too late to make space. It's never too late to live in peace. And if you've made it this far, listen closely. Learning isn't just for the young. Learning is for those who are alive. Who said that after a certain age there's nothing new left to discover? Where is it written that by the time you're 70 or 80, everything has already been said, done, or learned? That's a comfortable, familiar, and dangerous lie. Because the moment you believe it, you begin to die while still alive, just like you heard. Whoever stops learning starts to fade away. Want to know why so many older people feel sad, empty, and disconnected? It's not just loneliness or loss. It's because they stopped being curious. They stopped asking questions, stopped getting excited about the new, stopped believing there's still more to discover. And no, I'm not just talking about studying for a degree or learning another language. Although if that's what you want, go for it. I mean everyday transformative gestures. I mean keeping an open mind, seeing differences without judgment, cooking something new, using your phone in a new way, reading a book outside your usual interests, listening to unfamiliar music, having a conversation that teaches you something. I'm talking about that inner spark that reminds you that you're alive. Because as long as you have one more day ahead of you, you have the right and the duty to keep growing. That's what keeps you standing. That's what stops you from becoming just another piece of furniture in your home. And you know what happens when you stop learning? You cling to the past, become rigid, intolerant, repetitive, closed off. And little by little that turns into loneliness, that turns into bitterness. And you hear it in phrases like, "In my day, everything was better," or "I no longer understand this world." But you are not that. You are here. You still breathe, you still have the ability, and if you still have it, it means there's still time. Then something quiet happens. When you convince yourself that, "That's not for me," you begin to fade away without even realizing it. It's not that something suddenly fails you, it's that little by little you disconnect from life. But when you learn something new, even if it's something small, something stirs inside you. You feel useful, you feel present, you feel alive. Learning to use a new app on your phone, learning to care for a different plant, learning to say, "I didn't know that." Learning to forgive, learning to ask for help, learning to laugh at what used to bother you. Learning to leave the past behind, learning to enjoy the simple things, learning to change your mind, to say, "I don't think like I used to." All of that is learning, and all of it keeps you young inside. It doesn't matter if you have wrinkles on the outside. True youth lives in the movement of the soul. Think about this. Your brain is like a lamp. If you don't connect it to a new source of energy, it goes out. No matter how bright it once was, without something new to feed it, it fades and remains in darkness. But you're not here to live in the shadows. You're here to shine, to keep illuminating, to leave a mark. And for that, you have to keep learning. Do you feel clumsy with technology? Learn anyway. Don't know how to start something new? Ask. Are you embarrassed to try something different? Do it anyway. Perhaps it's pride holding you back. Then, let it go. We're not here to feed the ego. We're here to grow. It doesn't matter if you use a prosthetic, a cane, or stronger glasses. As long as you have the desire, you have power. And as long as you have power, you have a future. And as long as you have a future, you have a responsibility to yourself. Because real death doesn't happen when the heart stops beating, but when you stop learning. So now you know. Learning isn't just for the young, it's for those who are awake. And if you're reading this, if you're listening to these words, it's because you're more alive than ever. And if you're alive, don't fade away. Ignite yourself, because there's always something new to discover, to understand, to improve. And that, dear one, knows no age. In conclusion, everything you've been carrying, those thoughts that no longer serve you, people who no longer add value, guilt that no longer makes sense, objects that just take up space, excuses that hold you back, none of that has anything to do with age. All of this relates to what you never dared to let go of. Being over 60, 70, or even 80 years old is not a punishment, it's a privilege. It's an opportunity that many never had. And here you are, breathing, feeling, with the sacred chance to reinvent yourself. So go ahead and do it. Don't wait for the world to change. Change yourself. Let go of what holds you back, what weighs you down, because you still have time. Time to laugh, to love, to learn, to enjoy, but only if you have the courage to release what you no longer need. Happiness in old age isn't something you find, it's something you build. And it all begins when you dare to drop the weight that keeps you from moving forward. Are you ready to live light and free? Then start today, start now, because if you don't do it, no one else will do it for you. We've come to the end of this reflection. Now that you know all this, I want to hear from you. How are you living your life today? What did you think of these words? Will you try to change something for the better? Leave your comment down below. I'd love to know your experience, to read your thoughts, to understand what you felt, what moved you inside. And if this message touched your heart, you have to watch the video I'm leaving right next to this one. It will continue to nourish your soul and accompany you in this powerful and beautiful stage of your life. Click and come in. I'll be waiting there with more words that heal, awaken, and embrace.